like a synopsis of the murder, you'll want to check out all the other peripheral stuff, like the phone calls and like interrogations and all that too.
Yeah, nice.
All right, folks. So enough true crime, enough studio chatter. This is the MCU'S Pretty Edge YouTube channel and podcast. Getting off late this evening. We are here on Monday, September 8th, to do our first Daryl Dixon Season 3, Episode 1 recap. I guess technically it is The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, Season 3. Such a long, drawn-out title,
Absolutely.
When you have to write it all down, it's so much. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, It's a lot, but, so much simpler to just call it Daryl Dixon.
Do you guys have any ideas what they might have called it if they knew Carol was going to be part of it from the start? Like, would they have just called it Daryl and Carol or something like that?
No. Sorry.
No, I don't think they would have called it Daryl and Carol. That's too simple.
Yeah. I just actually
that'd be like if they called Ones Who Live the Rick and Michonne show, like so many other people did call it. On the internet, on Twitter, it was known as the Rick and Michonne show by most people.
Yeah. That was weird. No. AMC just calls it the Daryl Dixon or just The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. They just season 2 was just called The Book of Carol. So this third season is just titled the Daryl Dixon. So.
I believe, Ben, they would have called it The Book of Carol from jump, if not for the fact that they could not work out having what's her name be in season 1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I remember correctly, she did not want to travel to France to shoot season 1.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And that was the main impediment from her not being on the show.
Yeah, first season. Makes sense.
And of course the little bit of like, a cameo appearances they gave of her in season 1 wasn't enough to actually make it, the Book of Carol. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. No. I mean, plus, I'm sure they wanted to set up, Andres, it's your turn to moderate, sir. I don't know why I took over. Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
The conversation was just going. It's your turn. But honestly, Ben, last thing I'll say is just that I think they probably wanted also the opportunity to have that excitement, that punch of, dropping in Daryl officially, or Carol officially into season 2,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's called Daryl Dixon. That's what, don't get confused about the Book of Carol. It's called Daryl Dixon. I mean, it is his show, so I don't think that. I think they just kept the Book of Carol for the second season, so don't be confused. But anyway, tonight is going to be my first moderation for this. I think this season. I don't know if I moderated last season, but yeah.
3 months ago, I think. So I would expect myself to be like super. Stamina, man.
Jeff, mute. Okay. Anyway, okay. But anyway,
actually, I'm just gonna let my dog in. She's just scratching at the door.
Yeah. Go ahead. So, hey everyone, this is Andreas Diaz. Crazy time right now for the MC Bleed Edge. But yeah, so welcome back. It's been a long time since season 2. I'm very excited to moderate this first episode for season 3. Everyone doesn't know. We got our renewal for Daryl Dixon. We got the 4th and final season, which is kind of, it's kind of sad, but, very exciting that we got the 4th season, so that's good. Ben, let me kind of talk to you here. Welcome back, sir. And first
Thanks
question.
for having me.
Yeah, it was great to. It was a pleasure to meet you last year, and it's really great to get you back here. And my first question to you: have you finished season 2 by any chance? Okay. So my question is, Daryl Dixon, season 2. Did you finish
Oh
that up?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So
Yeah,
my
for
question.
sure. I will admit though, Dead City, I haven't finished season 2 yet.
Oh, okay.
I found that one a bit of a struggle to get through, but Daryl Dixon definitely.
Okay. No worries. I mean, it was a struggle for me and Jeff when we were reviewing that season. I feel you. I feel what you're saying, sir. So give me your just initial thoughts about season 2, and then jump into like what's your overall opinion about this like season opener of Daryl Dixon season 3. Go ahead, sir.
Sure. Yeah, Daryl Dixon season 2. For both season 1 and season 2, I was definitely enjoying it enough. I think there was some good stuff there and some decent characters and that kind of thing. I will say, like overall, it just wasn't the kind of show that I was hoping to get out of the Walking Dead kind of universe.
Okay.
So it was the kind of thing where I was like, hey, this is pretty decent. I'm enjoying it, but I wasn't like super excited about it every week. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of my very brief overview thoughts of the first 2 seasons. But I will say this third season opener, I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually quite excited now for what the rest of season 3 is going to be like. It feels almost like a completely different show in the kind of stories they're looking to tell, maybe, and the direction they're taking it. So yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah. No. I see what you're saying. So like my just brief kind of a synopsis for my experience for the first 2 seasons. I liked the first season. I thought that was a really good, like like season like 1 for a show, and especially for a Walking Dead spin-off. I thought it was really great to like reintroduce Daryl Dixon. I liked the setting for Paris. I thought that was a really cool twist. I liked that they did something new with the walkers. The super hands walkers was kind of neat. I like that, and I like how some of the walkers,
Yeah,
like they had like some like acid blood in their bodies. So that was like a really good like, punch up for these walkers to be like even scarier. Because I don't know, if you check out our reviews. I mean, the Dead City walkers there was so laughable, sir. I mean, it was like it was like they were a punching bag. And where compared to this show, Derek Dixon, it was like they feel more scarier than like what's going on with this city, which is crazy. Um,
sure.
yeah, and then getting into season 2, I kind of with you about season 2. It wasn't as good as the first season, because we're bringing in Carol to the mix, and like still the chemistry between those two are awesome, like the original show, the OG show. So it was great to see those two back again, but I felt like they had to like rush the storyline from first season and like try to like you were saying what you like about this opener. It was like a reboot basically. Like it was like
Yeah,
like they were trying to like wrap up the major storylines they were having in the Paris section. And so I was kind of like a little upset about it, because those were the things I liked about it. But I understood, because now we had Carol, and there's now a direction for this show now, because we know that they renewed this show for fourth and final season. So like, I am kind of curious how they're gonna like really set up the emotional like setup with these two. So, yeah, I'm with you.
sure.
Like yeah, and so I think this opener was really great. It was a very I kind of wish we stay in London, mainly because I'm a 28 Days fan, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
like I didn't know that the UK was like an island because the new movie came out.
Mm,
I was like, oh, really? So that makes sense why the first movie and then that movie mentioned quarantine. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and I was
mm.
shocked. Yeah. So I mean, I should remember when the soldier in the first 28 days later mentioned that, oh, people think everywhere was affected, but no, it was actually we're quarantined. No one knows that UK is affected with this
Sure.
virus. So I was kind of curious what The Walking Dead was going to do with the London setting, but I was surprised we just did it one episode, and then we're now in
Mm,
this new setting now for like the remainder, I guess, for this third season. I'm very intrigued. But yeah, I
yeah.
thought, yeah, and the actor who I like, he's a comedian. I forgot his
Stephen Merchant.
Yes, Stephen Merchant. He's hilarious. I love him. I was so. We'll get into the episode, but I was so gutted they kill him off. I was like, he could be a great regular, like, have you seen his work,
Sure.
like from I don't know, like The Office and some of the, British comedies he did, and he's a really good serious actor. He
And
was
he
in,
was in Logan as well, right?
yes, he was in Logan. He played the mutant called Caliban, where he was able to track,
That's right.
the mutants, and yeah, he was good there. Very sad too, he died. And then, but yeah, I really enjoy it. So let's get into the recap. Speaking of the opening, so we start with the opening with like a quote from R.M. Reich, if I'm spelling that right. Sorry. And I'm just gonna read the quote here. I have my dead. I have let them go. That's what. That's cut up. That's the kind of point. And then here we cut it to now Daryl, Carol, who are both still doing as they always do, walking in the country. They're along the coast of England, where they make their way through the countryside. And then here we get the with that moment, that reminded me of 28 Days Later, like seeing Jim and or like the new movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson, like walking in the fields, like that was very 28 fields
those
there.
sweeping drone shots of the beautiful landscapes and just the two people and
people. I always got that's so good, like apocalypse kind of moments. Like you always get those. And then Carol holds on tight to like a can of hot dogs. That was kind of interesting. That's maybe for
the other side of town. So I don't think y'all, because y'all,
Jeff is back.
Y'all are friends at work.
I'm sorry about that, Andreas. What did I miss?
No, we were going through the opening of the season 3. So,
okay.
Can you turn off what you had in the background? Sorry.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, sorry about that.
She was called
but anyway, so we'll go. Let me wait for Jeff
sure.
We'll get his opinion and then we'll get into like the opening very quickly. Okay, that's good. Anyway, so let me get back to the recap here. So okay, good. So the recap here. So then after that, Carol says she's saving it for a special occasion. The friends walk and talk about what they lost, and all they do is like run and fight, as Daryl said before. And then after that, we get them arriving in the decrepit London at the Westminster checkpoint. First we saw the London Bridge, which I was there. I visited London like a couple years ago, and it was crazy to see that like decay and so that was cool to see that, and but with no one around, like you see kind of the graffiti here and there, and so they go right through to the gates, and then you get some of the like classic, like they ran into like a walker, they like there's just snails of food walkers here and there, but after that, literally a bunch of them emerges like from nowhere, like a bunch of them, and Daryl and Carol had to fight back and flee to like this old apartment building here, which they are managed to seal themselves inside. So let me stop there. So let me go to you, Ben. What you thought about this opening up to them going to that old building to like protect themselves from the walkers? Go ahead.
It was. I liked the kind of atmosphere of it. The music I thought was really good, with the very opening and the montage of them walking. It just kind of set a nice tone for the season, I think. And like even when they're in the alleyway and all these walkers come out, and it kind of almost reminded me of the opening of Walking Dead when Rick's in the city. And he turns around the corner and there's just all these walkers swarming in. Like, it wasn't exactly the same, but it kind of had that vibe about it. So, no, I really liked it. And the quality, like all the sets and that those one or two walkers that had like trees growing through them and stuff, like or the vines or whatever they were, like they looked really good.
The tree walkers, the tree walkers were really creative, really cool.
Yeah,
definitely, and you can tell they put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, awesome. Any more thoughts before I go to Jeff, sir? Ben?
No, just really, definitely a solid opening.
Awesome. Jeff, we're talking about like the opening of this episode, up to the swarm of walkers attacking.
But I didn't mean to cut you off there, brother. I was just jumping on something you were saying. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to steal your thunder at all. But honestly, to mirror or echo Ben, I felt like a virtue of Daryl Dixon's show so far has been the fact that they've done a good job of trying to maintain the Walking Dead aspects of the Walking Dead show and incorporate them into their show still. You know what I mean? And that scenario with the walkers just coming out of nowhere all of a sudden, right? It starts off with first it's just they see one, there's a whistle, then there's two. You know what I mean? Then that, suddenly turns into like 90 of them. You know what I'm saying? That immediately, if anybody who's a Walking Dead fan, that immediately brings you back to all of those those initial seasons of The Walking Dead, where so many episodes that would happen in different ways, right? Whether it was when they were driving on the highway, right? Like remember when they were traveling on the highway, at one point or whatever, they would have to hide under cars and stuff like that when they were walking. Because of the herds that would come by and all that. When they would go into stores and forage and there would be walkers left over, in large amounts, you know what I'm saying? That would be a hard to deal, be a problem, right? We saw a lot of major characters in The Walking Dead die in missions like that, on the main show. You know what I'm saying? Because of certain situations like that, And one of the great things about having those basic, really easy, live action, action scenes you get to do, where you get to, get the actual zombie killing and all that. Although they didn't do a lot of it, they did do some of it. Is that it still looks cool? It's still fun. You know what I mean? It's still, it's still entertaining to see them kill zombies. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And use weapons. Watching people stab people with knives and shit. Like stab zombies in the face and shit like that, and shoot them and with guns and shit in the head. All that stuff is fun to watch. It's entertaining. It always on the main show and still on Daryl Dixon. There's this sense that you get with these two characters where they've been there and done that when it comes to fighting walkers, to the point where like pretty much they're going to be okay in any situation they get in. Like no matter how overwhelmed they get or whatever, they're going to kind of figure out a way out of it at some point. You know what I'm saying? And they're smart too. Carol and Daryl are both intelligent characters. They know when to escape and run rather than try to fight. You know what I'm saying? They're not stupid like that. They're not like Michonne, or Andrea, you know what I'm saying? Or other like characters throughout the years that were more emotional, or how Daryl could be on The Walking Dead at times when he was younger, where they would get like vengeful, you know what I'm saying? Or like, in a bad mood or whatever, you know what I mean? And go out and like, rage kill zombies, you know what I'm saying? And like get all crazy and shit, Carol and Daryl aren't like that as characters. You know what I'm saying? They're very much like thinkers at this point of the game, how Carol did not cut her hand on that glass on that door, I do not know. That was one spot where honestly, I'm sorry, but like for once they fucked up a little bit with the production on that. She should have bled and been cut by what she had to do with that door. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she had to smash the door with her fucking bare hands open. You know what I'm saying? And like, push the door, the pieces of the shards away and everything, to get to the handle to change it. There's no way she could have done that without not getting cut. You know what I'm saying? So that was I don't know about that one. I mean, seriously. What were you gonna say?
I think she was wearing gloves during that time, right?
No, she wasn't wearing gloves.
I know Daryl was wearing gloves. Now I need to check again to see if she was wearing gloves.
Even if she had gloves, it wouldn't have mattered. She would have got cut on that door. I'm telling you.
Maybe.
I was scrutinizing the shit out of her breaking into that door, and there was a lot of glass, like a lot of shards that broke and scattered and everything, like that, where she would have got cut,
Yeah.
Looks like Ben's having some down under Wi-Fi issues.
Oh God. Hopefully he'll be back. Okay, he's back.
So yeah, I mean, are we going as far as them going into the house?
That was the stopping point. Then.
Okay. All right.
The building. So
then I'll stop there then.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's get into that. So like after they kind of locked the door. You were talking about Jeff. Carol didn't get like cut. They sealed it. They kind of like.
I'm telling you, if we had that scene to replay right now, if you guys saw it, you would agree with me that she should have been cut.
Well, you know what? Next week I'm gonna see a clip and then I will just show it to you and I'll tell you before the live stream.
If this was Alien Earth, a super popular TV show, I could go pull it up on YouTube in 2 seconds and find the scene.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it should be in the Walking Dead YouTube channel, folks. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, so they work themselves up to like several flights of the stairs, where they enter like apartment here where like the previous owner like hands himself in the chandelier, and like you see him, being as a walker, like just moving around, which was kind of crazy. And so they first off, you're speaking, Jeff, about TWD. It's kind of funny they didn't kill that walker yet, but we'll get into it. But they rampage for supplies, right? But they're interrupted by a smaller group of walkers, including the one from the chandelier, which they're easily killed. There were a couple cool kills, no, Daryl using the famous sport over the UK called cricket. He used the cricket bat they use, and like he used that to kill the walkers. That was neat. And then Carol killed one of those walkers with the fire hose. That was kind of neat. So that was nice. And then after that, Carol and Daryl go outside on the apartment balcony, where hundreds of walkers now line the streets. They won't be going anywhere anytime soon. So 2 days later, we get these 2 days later, Tile, and they still there. They're surrounded using the binoculars to like search the street. They're not able to stay much longer. They decided to make a run for it at dawn. But Carol considers eating the can of hot dogs she just found, seeing how it could be their last meal. How dramatic, Carol. Not Carol, sorry. But before she can open them, a light shines through the room from the outside. Ooh. Is someone sealing them? Yes. Daryl seals back with a piece of glass just in case of another living humans out there. And they are awoken in the night by a sound of footsteps and banging on the roof, and then noises moves to the back lane. And then they open the door ready to kill, and then they find a very tall and awkward man, aka name Julian Chamberlain. Of course, this one is played by Stephen Murch. Finally, we get him as an active piece. He shows the two rabbits he brought for Daryl and Carol to eat. And so the trio sits down for the dinner, where Julian says that he's the last person in England as far as he knows, and he hasn't seen anyone in years until now. Okay, so let me stop there. Jeff, what you thought about this part of, Daryl Carroll like roaming through the apartment, killing those like small the Walker family there, and then meeting and pretty much the end point is the talking with the English guy.
I heard you, sir. I'm good. I guess Ben's having Wi-Fi problems, unfortunately, so we'll have to see if he comes back or not. But
Okay.
So basically, yeah, I mean, this is where the show, as usual, is better than Dead City, for instance, because Daryl and Carol very smartly go through and they rummage that entire fucking building that they're in. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing they do right off the bat, right? You see them go right in there. You know what I mean? They like take a breath for a minute, right? And then they start going through drawers and going through cabinets and stuff like that, right? Rummaging, looking for food, looking for objects that can help them. You know what I mean? Right? And what do they end up finding? Weapons, that they end up using then to kill zombies. You know what I'm saying? Because they rummaged. They immediately go and do that stuff, right? They make it like a mandate. They have to do it, and they're busy the whole time. In those scenes when they're in the house, you see them running around, going through the cabinets, looking for stuff, looking for gear, looking for supplies, looking for food, Dead City never does that. They never pay off that part of The Walking Dead where your characters are in like the zombie apocalypse and shit, right? Like they're hungry a lot of times. You got to figure, you know what I'm saying? Like they're hungry. They haven't eaten in days probably, at times. You know what I'm saying? Like look at Daryl and Carol's situation right now. They're obviously packing very light. Like they're traveling very light. They have very little supplies to them. You know what I'm saying? So like they don't have any food, and like where they are, that there isn't a lot of abundant supplies to get anywhere where they're at. So like like Dead City just does not bother with this stuff. They don't bother having Negan, having fucking the different characters go into like empty buildings and stuff like that, and search for like medical supplies, you know what I'm saying, and food and like weapons and gear and whatever, you know what I mean? Like who the fuck knows what you could find, right? Like it's fucking shit, right? It's left behind shit people left. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go through it. So I just, I love the fact that Daryl Dixon pays off to the original show by, having the characters do that stuff, in Daryl Dixon. You know what I'm saying? Like, automatically. You know what I mean? Like you expect them to, like almost. You expect them to go and look for food and like, search through the houses or search through wherever they're staying at, right? Another thing too, I think that is great about Daryl Dixon so far as a show overall, all through all the seasons that they've had, and through episode 1, is they've had good secondary characters, and when people just drop in on episodes like new secondary characters, Daryl Dixon, they're usually pretty valuable in some form or fashion, Either they last for a while and they end up being a decent character that's likable or whatever, to some extent, or at least watchable, or they end up being around for an episode or two where then they die, but they die well. It's like a good death, like they die as a hero or like they die as a zombie, you know what I'm saying? And Daryl kills them or Carol shoots them or, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a valuable death. You know what I mean? Dead City doesn't do that either. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't get that value out of every character that they drop into the story, the way that The Walking Dead was so good at doing that in their really good seasons, getting the absolute most almost, right, out of new characters that would come in to the show, because they would get the most out of new characters, you know what I'm saying? By the time that they would get killed or be off the show or whatever, they would get they would get everything. So, I'm not trying to rag on Dead City all day, but, why they don't see these small things that they do on Daryl Dixon, like that works for the show for them, and why they don't see that and do anything like that on their show, I just don't get it. But,
yeah.
you know, overall, I do like that Louis guy. He seems like a fucking kind of crazy nutbag, drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hanging off the fucking roof by a rope and shit. He roped himself all the way to the fucking door or whatever. You know what I mean? He seems like a cool guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's the thing about the Walking Dead universe, though. Like, everybody seems nice and cool at first. You know what I mean? But you never know at the end of the day what they're really about. You know what I'm saying? Until like some time passes. You know what I mean? You never know. Because even what's his name? Steven or whatever the fuck his name is.
Was it the actor? Stephen Merch? Yeah.
Yeah, Stephen Merchant. Whatever his name is, whatever his character
Julian.
is.
Yeah, Julian.
Julian. Even Julian says some crazy shit sometimes, right off the bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some suspect kind of sounding shit a little bit here and there.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
I mean, part of that was also his accent and like the way he talks. That British talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, this is way better than Dead City because you brought it before. Like, this show really feels like it's part of the Walking Dead like universe, right? They're bartering things that we like about that show. Like we're seeing traditional thing of seeing our two survivors looking for shelter and food, and of course they have a mission. Of course, with Daryl and Carol, they're trying to get back home. Where with Dead City, they're trying to do this like political, like group versus, like with the Babylon and then whatever the chick, the villain chick, I forgot her name. I don't care, but like, the Dama, right? It's like so bad because it's so uninteresting, and it's like just give me Maggie and what's his name Negan, like being together and like have them be like a partnership. Yeah, them versus a one group. Like I don't need this to like multiple storylines. Like it's I don't know what's going on with the Dead City. This city just like they take too much their time. They don't like give us enough like Walker action. Walker kills, which this episode does very well. Like,
Ben's having Wi-Fi problems, folks, and Andres, just so you know. I'm talking to him on Instagram right now. He's trying to get on. He's resetting his modem right now.
Yeah, hopefully that works. I unfortunately, internet is right now the internet is going to hell, so it's going to be a problem. But yeah, I just don't understand how this show just does it better than Dead City. I mean, like I don't know. It's kind of crazy. This show is doing a better job than Dead City. But yeah, that's the thing. Anything else to say, sir?
It's early yet. This is still episode 1 of Daryl Dixon season 3. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna, and I have some things to say about about the direction of this episode towards the end. As far as what I think of some of the stuff where they end up at story wise by the end of the episode. I have some things to say, but still, I feel like Dead City is just terrible. Like I saw some guy today on one of those social media fucking apps or whatever, and he had a post up that said like Negan was like top Negan or something like that during Dead City season 2 or something shit like that.
No.
I responded to him, but I was like, bro, I'm sorry, nothing against Negan, but Dead City season 2 was god awful television. It was terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, like, I mean...
I don't even blame him. I don't blame Negan. I said that when we did the show. You with us, Ben?
Yeah.
I am, yes, I think so. I've just done a reset of the modem. Sorry about that. It kept coming.
That's okay, Ben. Sometimes if you switch over to straight audio and you don't do your video, if you're having Wi-Fi problems, that'll help you stay on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that for now, and hopefully it'll speed up soon, and I can turn the video back on.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me get to you, Ben. Before anything happens, what are your thoughts on Daryl Carol raiding through that apartment, and then the end point is them meeting up with the Stephen Merch character and like their conversation over dinner. Go ahead, sir.
And what do you think, Ben, about how like on Dead City they don't ever have like the main characters rummage through the rooms and through like the abandoned buildings and stuff like that for food and like supplies and all that kind of stuff the way that they do in this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that I love seeing that stuff in like any apocalypse kind of Walking Dead show. And I remember there was a bit in The Ones Who Live where they did that, where they found like some I don't know, 2-minute noodles or something like that. And
it's the first thing they all do. All the main characters, it's like an automatic. Whenever they go into like a new house or something like that, they always go right into the cabinets, right into the pantry and stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah, so I love that. And it's just kind of makes it feel like you're watching real people in the real world, because that's what you would do in that setting. And the only thing about it that I didn't like so much was the ninja walkers, which has been a thing in the show for a long time, but just in the sense where like it'll be silent and then all of a sudden a zombie comes out of nowhere, and it's like, how did it sneak up on the they're usually so loud and shambling, making all this noise, but somehow manages to sneak up and ambush them.
Well, they are getting old.
True, and maybe the hearing loss from all the gunfire as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I totally forgot that they came out of nowhere, but I mean, they kind of hinted there was a family there.
Ben, you didn't have any thoughts on Louis, the new guy?
The Julian character. What do you thought about him?
Yeah, on Stephen Merchant. No, I liked him. I guess it's kind of nice to have particularly Stephen Merchant is a pretty well-known actor, so cool to have a guest star like that. And I thought he seemed like a real enough character. He's a little bit, goofy. He'd kind of spent a lot of time by himself, and I guess that makes a lot of sense. But I liked him. It was nice for a bit of a change-up, especially, and he seemed to bounce off the other characters well.
Yeah. No,
I'm not familiar with him. Is he like a strictly British actor, like one of those or something like that?
Mainly, British comedy, but then he was in Logan as well. We were talking about that just before, Andrew and me, and
I never saw.
So he's done a few serious roles, but
I never saw Logan, sir. I know. Don't say anything to me.
Yeah.
Right. He's in a lot of Ricky Gervais comedy stuff.
Yes. Yeah. He was in like the Extras, the TV show from HBO. Yeah. He's a good friend of Ricky Gervais. I remember. Yeah. But okay. Awesome. Thank you, Ben. Let's move on. Speaking of Julian, let's kind of stick with that because after they're having their like dinner at the night, he kind of like recalls how society broke down after the outbreak, where we get kind of good, like very cool like apocalypse kind of like aftermath of the London being affected by the walkers, with the city being kind of still off, and he meant like everyone were like it meant doom for everyone who lived inside. He could have left London, but what it could be the point, as he was saying to like Daryl and Carol. But then he brought up that he couldn't sail the boat alone, so that immediately gets Daryl Carol's attention. And Carol tells Julian about America and how he could go there with them, but he thinks they could also stay in London. But Daryl's being too feral, asks where the boat is, but Julian dismisses it and smiling and happy that he has met people to share the world with. But then Carol tells him that they have friends waiting for them at home. It could be your home too. Don't you want somebody to miss you? And then Julian asks if they want to sail, to which they quickly lie and say yes. It just takes a few seconds for excited Julian, played by Stephen Merch, to like agree their plan. That was a weird part. Like he was resistant on it, But then he kind of like, okay, I kind of like this. I could be remembered by these Americans over America. So okay, so he goes to his like headquarters slash home, right, to get his supplies, and he comes back in the morning, and the next day. They like Julian sets up the bells at the Big Ben, drawing the walkers. Cool moment, actually. That was a good way to distract the walkers away from the apartment building before he shows up with the food and supplies, which is very again as Jeff brought before. Like again, our characters being smart, not only our main characters but also the guest character, which is great. The supporting character is thinking and being smart, which is awesome. So he quickly figures out that Daryl and Keller aren't sailors. I mean, obviously, which really sucks, but because he's not much of a one either. So like, I mean, three of them were not sailors. So I was laughing at this. I was like, oh, okay. So Julian always wanted to be, but he flunked out a Royal Navy college. That was hilarious. I thought that joke was very funny. Like he just flunked the naval college. I was like, oh wow. And he's like, one wrong decision, I'll get you killed. I mean, seems like a good guy. He doesn't seem like a bad guy, so that's nice. So Julian has no self confidence, so he's ready to forget about the boat. But Daryl, who is an awesome hero, talks him off. Everyone who passed at the Royal Navy College is probably dead. Yet you're here, Julian. You're still alive, so that means something, right? So it doesn't mean you need to go to college. You just need to be, confident. And so that's what happened. They follow him and be all right, and then it gets Julie moving, and the three head up for Thames, where the sailboat is docked. And then this is like the wrapping part here. Out on the open sea, where Julian struggles. By the way, great moment to see like them going under the London Bridge and seeing the walkers in the down below. That was kind of cool. So then after that, they out of the open sea where Julian struggles to read his maps, but like the law of navigation confuses him, but sending him spiraling into this despair again. But then they lost, but according to his calculation, they're somehow still on the right course, and they should be in America in about 2 weeks, and they get excited. Okay, let me kind of stop there. Ben, let me go back to you, Ben. What you thought about these three characters getting out of London? Stephen Merch's character using the Big Ben to trick the walkers so like they could get a.
No.
Andre, the pop culture guy, went frozen, I think, Ben.
Yeah, sorry about that. There we go. Okay, I think I'm back. Can you?
Oh, you didn't do anything. No, Andres went frozen. Andres, you frozen, baby.
Oh, he's
What's
frozen.
up?
Okay. Right.
Andres,
Right,
if you can hear me, Andres, you gotta bounce out and come back, sir. You're totally frozen. You're in silent mode. I think I kind of know what you were gonna say. You were gonna finish up and say, "Let's talk about what happened when they're like about to get on the boat." Was that what he was saying, Ben?
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm happy to jump in with my thoughts while he's reconnecting.
Yeah, most definitely. That's exactly where he was at.
Right, cool.
He was just going to go ahead and ask us what we thought of that section of the episode. So go ahead, sir.
Sweet. Yeah, I really liked it. It was just cool to like feel like we're going on this adventure, traveling around the world, and like that seems really scary being out on a boat trying to navigate like with no proper equipment, and you're just like trying to get from one continent to another. But yeah, I just thought it was fun, and seeing those three characters all being very capable and being able to work it out. Yeah, like it was a nice chemistry. I guess because like especially seeing Fear the Walking Dead, there were just lots of annoying characters and kind of weird moments. But with these guys, it's like, hey, I'm enjoying watching them all bounce off each other and do their thing. So yeah, that was really nice. But like the Big Ben, hey, if you're in London, you got to make use of Big Ben, right? So that was kind of cool to see them do that to draw the walkers away. I guess, yeah, it would have been nice, like we were saying before, to have a little bit more time in London. As you know, it was only really half an episode, and they've left already. Um, but I definitely like the idea that this is like a globe-trotting adventure, and they're just doing their best to survive. Maybe something I guess I would have liked a little bit more of, because we were talking about foraging for food earlier and scavenging and all that kind of thing. But like on the boat, especially, it didn't seem like they really had many supplies. Carol's got a unopened can of hot dogs, and maybe they've got a few other snacks. But I guess that was a question in my head of like, how are they eating and surviving, especially on a small boat like this? If they're going to be there for a few weeks.
Didn't what's his name have supplies to prepared already for some like trip he was going to go on with his former friend or whatever that died? Didn't he already have some stuff?
Okay, yeah, right. That makes sense.
So that's how they survive. That's how they're going to survive on the boat. It's because he had all this like pre-packed food and alcohol and booze and shit like that already like packed.
They did have a lot of alcohol. That wasn't a problem at all. Yeah, cool. But that's more or less my thoughts on that.
Okay, most definitely,
back.
Ben.
Good to see.
Andres, you're back, sir. So listen, we know where you finished off. You were just asking us what we thought of that section of the episode right there, where they're about to get on the boat, you know what I mean, or whatever, and take off. And so we were just talking about that. And I was just about to say that, I don't know, Ben. Like me personally, considering like the past experiences that Daryl and Carol have both had throughout all their years of living in the Walking Dead universe, when it comes to meeting strangers, you know what I'm saying? And like how that shit plays out sometimes with strangers, you know what I mean? Like over time,
sure.
once you get to know them a little bit, I'm always dubious as a Walking Dead fan. I'm always dubious of new people. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who they are. When they first show up, especially if they're alone, you know what I'm saying? Like not in a group, but in a lone person. That's really suspicious to me. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think they were too trusting of him too quickly?
I do. Yes, I was surprised.
Yeah.
Because
like,
usually Carol is a lot more guarded about that stuff.
True. One thought I would have on that is that I guess I didn't mind it so much because before he arrived, they were already kind of at a point where they were like they were almost about to have their final meal, and they thought they were going to die the next day because they were stuck in this building. And then also the fact that it's just those two, and they feel like it kind of seems like they're happy with where they're at in life, and if this is the end, then hey, we did our best. And so they don't have as much to lose in the sense of
they're so resourceful. Ben, they're so resourceful as characters.
True.
Even when their backs are turned against the wall, you know what I'm saying? And you know that they've got to starve for a couple days, for 5 days with no food and shit like that. They've done that before. You know what I'm saying? Like in The Walking Dead. Like that's normal for them. You know what I mean? You know? Like
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Having to figure out how to get out of fucked up situations like all them walkers. You know what I mean? They would have figured something out eventually,
Yeah. I guess more the main thing as far as trusting him quickly, like they're not trying to protect a big community like they would be at home. So like at home, if they trust someone and he betrays them, then there's like all these lives at stake. But I guess if it's just them two, then they feel like they can maybe take more of a risk or handle themselves more if they need
honestly, to. Ben, it's also possible that like maybe your read of him as a character was different than mine, because like I did get a little bit of a dubious hint from him as a character when he first popped up. But part of that was the fact that he speaks like that pure British talk. You know what I mean? Where some of it didn't make sense to me almost. You know what I mean? Like it sounded like gibberish. But I think it was supposed to be like British humor of some kind. You know what I'm saying? So like I think I may have like misunderstood him a little bit. You know what I mean? It's very possible that like Daryl and Carol actually felt like they could trust him very quickly. Like possibly.
Sure.
And I mean, and obviously, I mean, like he had the supplies and all that shit and the boat too, which is a big deal to have. You know what I'm saying? If you've got a chance to team up with somebody that's got resources like that,
yeah, it's worth the risk.
Yeah. I'm still not sure how the fuck they actually got to the boat and all that and like how that all worked. You know what I'm saying? They just made that happen, But like, they got there. You know what I'm saying? But like, it does suck, Ben and Andres, that they only gave us this little tiny glimpse of the UK on the show. Like, I thought all of season 3 was going to be in the UK.
Yeah, I was talking this to Ben before you were out a little bit. Yeah, I was so surprised that this one episode, this one opening was just for the UK. It was kind of strange, and I wasn't paying attention to anything what was going on with Daryl Dixon season 3. Like I didn't know we were gonna go to Spain as the main setting, like all that we won't get into towards the end.
Even if you watch the trailer did not give off any indication that they were immediately going to get on a boat and like leave the UK.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I saw the trailers. I thought we were in the UK. They didn't like show us any clips.
The trailer, if anything, in the trailer, it looks like they're in the UK the whole season.
Yeah, exactly. So that was I mean, yeah, upsetting, but at the same time, that's kind of cool. Like they didn't reveal any like spoil like idea. I don't know, like so I don't know. It was weird. Yeah, it was strange. And let's kind of like move forward, kind of get out of this section here. But like while they're sailing, right? Like we got this really like cool moment where like Daryl and Carol kind of talking to each other. These Daryl thinks about his brother when they were kids, talking about like he grew up during the apocalypse. And then at the same time, we got Carol talking about letting go of her daughter back at the tunnel, which that was in last season, season 2 at French. She's excited about moving forward and seeing what comes next. That's cool. That's the one good thing I like to see is Carol being more like happy than like kind of sad, because that's the one thing about Carol that like it was kind of sad that she wasn't like as happy because what happened to her daughter in season 2. So I'm happy that she has this like now moment of moving forward now, because she has family over in America, of course, and then of course she has Daryl as a friend, and like Laurent is kind of like a new kid he could raise, so so there's potential there, and then Daryl listens and he's like very happy that she's like having to like move forward because Daryl is like still struggling with the loss of Isabel from last season, which I still don't like that they killed Isabel last season, but what I guess one good thing is like they're doing some character development with Daryl with that, so it's strange, but he still is happy with Carol. So at least that's quite a moment I really like. That was the highlight of the episode. I really like this character development with Carol and Daryl as friends, and that's good. And then after that, the next day we got Julian talks about the days before the outbreak where he kind of worked and saved money, and hoping to find someone to share his life with, as he's talked before the walkers became a thing, and then Daryl tells Julian that maybe he will find someone in America. So, however, before they can go that far, they think about that Julian sees the storm clouds coming in. So he sees the storms. Everyone is trying to like remove it, the boat, carefully in the rain, but it's like too powerful. And we get the moment here where Julian is getting knocked down and severely conscious, so that which is kind of crazy. With their captain out of commission, Daryl and Carol do their best to like direct the boat in the direction they're doing, but unfortunately, Carol thinks that this might be the end, and she say, "I'm glad I find you," and Daryl won't hear that because they're going home, as being positive. But unfortunately, they won't be anytime soon because next morning, that time the sailboat has crashed onto a beach. Both Daryl and Carol have been thrown onto the sand, knocked unconsciously. Carol took kind of like the worst of the beat, where she got like several concussion with blood in the head, and I think there's one in the back, which was kind of crazy. And then Daryl was kind of fine, but little bruises. But meanwhile, Julian is nowhere in sight. Carol does find him stranding on the beach, and this was kind of sad. As just said before, this show does a really good job of supporting characters. For like one and done, Julian turning into a walker was kind of crazy. He looked great. He's really tall as a walker, which is kind of cool. And so, Carol tries to hold him off, but she's kind of too unfocused right now because she's badly conscious with the crash. But Daryl comes in and kills Julian, and he does give do kind of out of respect, takes the body out into the water. So let me stop there. Let me go to you, Jeff. What you thought about the storm, like them in the boat, with storm, and then pretty much the end point where Julian becomes a walker and he gets killed. Go ahead.
I mean, again, they got a good, nice, valuable presence out of Julian, out of that secondary character's use in this episode, right? He was a one and done, right? He didn't survive, he's not going to be in episode 2, but for what it was worth, he provided the boat, you know what I mean? Even though they ended up in some fucked up backward South America country or some shit that they didn't want to be in. They did try to get over to America through the boat. And, the guy turns into a zombie. And then it even gets scary for a minute there when you think he's going to bite fucking Carol. You know what I'm saying? Because she has no weapon and she's all stunned from some kind of head wound from being flung from the ship or some shit like that. I don't know how that all worked out. You know what I mean? I don't get why they crashed the boat. Was it that hard to fucking steer the boat? They couldn't not crash the boat. I get it. I get it that Julian was sick or whatever, or fucked up after he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming, right? So maybe he couldn't help out or whatever or something like that. You know what I mean? And it was all on Daryl and Carol to do everything. But still, I don't know why they wrecked the boat. That was kind of fucked up. I mean, I was kind of shocked to see him washed up on the fucking beach like that again. Reminds me of Daryl Dixon season 1. Isn't that how Daryl got to France? Washed up on the beach?
Yes, but we saw in the first season that he had to jump out of the boat because of Still
though, I'm surprised that they did that again. You know what I'm saying?
It's not as bad. I thought it makes sense.
I just want to point out this new Mountain Dew Purple Thunder is their newest flavor. Ben, I don't know if you got this over in Australia yet, but it's good.
I haven't.
It's good.
I haven't seen it.
Really? Oh, awesome. It's a grape flavor? Ooh. Please. I like
purple.
Okay.
It's like a great Mountain Dew.
Oh, awesome. I definitely I definitely need to try it out. If I go out, I'll definitely.
They've got another one too that I drink sometimes. I've shown on here the blue raspberry one that they have too. That's new.
How's that?
That's really good.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's all I drink.
Yeah, you should try. Speaking of that, I did try a Mountain Dew strawberry red one. That was really good. I actually didn't mind that.
I've never seen that before. I do drink Mountain Dew Code Red sometimes, but once in a while, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, the stuff on the scenes on the boat, them sailing and all that were cool. The emotional conversation with Daryl and Carol and all that was nice, I mean, I was waiting for something bad to happen, so of course they had to have the storm and all that happen, something had to happen. You know what I mean? That things were going too well, Carol was saying all that nice shit about how things were going to be good and all this stuff or whatever. You knew something bad was going to happen. Somebody was going to die. I thought they were going to be pirates. That's what I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really
But yeah. When what's his name looked in his glass and saw the storm, I thought he was going to be seeing pirates.
That's true. Yeah. Julian. Yeah.
And they were gonna have to like fight, like have a fight, like 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 over the open ocean. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. I'd be scared shitless on that little tiny boat, sailing boat, fucking sailing across the goddamn entire ocean. You know what I'm saying? Fuck, dude. You know what I'm saying? That small ass boat, dude, and the massive
It's
ocean.
tiny, isn't it?
Bro, what I don't know. I forget what they call those different like mental conditions you can get, like fears you can get or whatever, phobias like that have to do with the ocean or whatever. But like,
Oh yeah, like thalassophobia is like the fear.
I would have like
of deep ocean.
I'd have 3 or 4 of them at the same time going on. You know what I'm saying? You know, like you know what I mean? Like just the reality of the fact that you're in the middle of the fucking ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like by yourself with no cell phone, no like help, no like nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
Like, and a sailboat, like and in the middle of fucking ocean, bro. You know what I mean? Like where there's devastating fucking storms and waves and shit and like, fucking, seriously. I mean, if you've ever seen any of the YouTube footage of some of those fucking storms that they have, these ships fucking like sail through across the Atlantic, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, like Daly's Catch. Like you seen that show, like that. The storms are crazy. Yeah. You know what's the misunderstanding, Jeff? We didn't have a zombie shark. That could have been an even awesome idea.
No, that would have been too far. That would have been too far fetched.
Oh my god!
But no, I'm just telling you right now. I would have been. What were you going to say, Ben?
Oh no, one idea I had when we were watching it was, you know how there's those like huge piles of trash that are floating in the ocean where like bits of plastic all get like mashed together. Imagine if that happened and a bunch of like walkers got stuck in it. I could imagine they come across like this huge clump of
honestly, Ben, they could probably do a whole like what if style show if they wanted to of like all the weird places or things that have happened to the zombies in the Walking Dead universe throughout the years. You know what I mean? Like, like the interesting places they've died or like you can find them. You know what I'm saying? Like how they've gotten to places. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like where they are in different parts of the world. You know what I'm saying? That'd be very interesting to watch, to see. I would watch that.
Absolutely.
But no, I mean, when it boils down to it, it would make no sense that a lot of zombies would have ever gotten into the ocean. You know what I'm saying? And like be floating around.
And if they did, sharks probably would have eaten them by now.
Sharks. Yeah, they get eaten. You know what I'm saying? Like, they decompose, they break down and just get eaten by all the other fish and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But it would be interesting to see a zombie sink into the ocean, and then like how long would they be alive? Like walking around in the bottom of the ocean, like you know what I'm saying? Just walking, you know what I'm saying? Like, with like no direction, you know what I'm saying? Aimlessly, like how long would they be able to go like that?
True. That's a good
point. I mean, like, because they don't need air, do they?
I mean, not really.
No.
I mean, they're pretty much dead, so like they don't need to like breathe.
Yeah, they don't breathe. They've never breathed at any point that I can remember.
I'm just trying to figure out they've
shown them in the original Walking Dead. Haven't they submerged in water for like long periods of time and then they come out of the water alive?
Yeah. Well, you remember? No, it's funny. This city, we had that zombie in the tunnel. In the sewers. That was maybe an example. I don't know.
Wait a minute. You talking about that monster creature thing?
Yeah. Right.
No, that was but that wasn't underwater.
Yeah. Or no. I'm sorry. It was before we get to that. There was like a scene. I can't remember, but like it's a lot of time I've seen the first season. But like there was before they met that monster, there was like a tunnel where there was like dead corpses in like one tunnel, and like I guess they merged there. But I don't know. There's been like an episode or two from the original series where there were like a water zombie came out.
Yeah,
I didn't remember.
they get bloated and they break down and decompose and all that kind of shit in water. You know what I'm saying? Like they do. You know what I mean? But like, but they survive.
Yeah, season 2. You remember in the farmhouse in Herschel, they had to get that chubby like zombie out of the well
Yes, with Glenn. Glenn had to go down there.
Yeah, that was a good example where like we saw like a water zombie. Like
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, so yeah, we have seen those before. Like it's just like a rare thing. Yeah. No, not a bad idea, Jeff. Yeah.
No. I mean, like honestly, when it comes to like in the United States of America, when it comes to bodies of waters like lakes and rivers and stuff like that and everything, it would not shock me if there'd be like dead in there. You know what I mean? Like hanging around, you know? Like that wouldn't surprise me. We've seen that before too, you know?
Yeah.
On the original show, you know? Where when they've gone into bodies of water, there's been walkers in the water already, you know?
Yeah. No.
So, no, but I would be scared shitless out in the middle of the ocean like that little boat, dude. Like, you know, like thinking about those storms and shit like that you gotta go, the waves, all that shit. And then thinking about all the crazy sharks that are out there and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If you fall off, dude, fuck that, bro. Like, but, you know, as usual, you got to give props to Carol and Daryl for maintaining their like perfect, like clean look all the time, even when they're on the boat in the ocean for 2 weeks and shit with the same clothes on they've had for like a month. They look clean, like, you know, like for the most part, you know, like, you know, they don't look real dirty or fucking stinky. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so I mean, overall, I knew the boat trip was going to lead to disaster. There was no way it was going to lead to anything good. You know what I'm saying? When they went on the boat trip, I was like, this is going to be bad for them. You know? Like, however this is going to play out, it's not going to be good. Either something bad's going to happen on the boat, you know, which is what I thought was going to happen. I thought something was going to happen in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? That's what I really thought. I was watching the show, and I was like, something's going to happen in the ocean, and they're going to end up, like, you know, capsized or something. Who the fuck knows, right? But instead, the fucking worst possible thing happened. They ended up fucking like shipwrecked in one of the worst possible fucking places in the world to be, even in like in regular fucking America 2025. Like now, like you don't want to be there. South America, dude, in the middle of nowhere in South America. You know what I'm saying? Where there's no laws and it's fucking jungle and fucking heat, you know, hot as fuck, you know, crazy fucking, you know, fucking natives and shit. You know what I'm saying? Murderers. It's fucking dangerous in South America, bro. You know, so like
I thought they were still in Europe, but they just landed in Spain. Is that right, or is it?
Yes.
Where did they land? I thought they landed in South America.
They're in Spain. They're not in South America. So.
Oh, okay, they're in Spain. Okay, all right. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought they were in South America. I was like, they're fucked.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, goddamn. Like, if you think the zombie apocalypse was bad in the United States of America, can you imagine what happened to fucking South America?
Oh my god. Folks, this is what a crime podcast would do to your brain.
No, sir. Listen, this happens. You know, this happens to the best of all of us that cover television, and whether it's this or Alien Earth or Shogun or the House of the Dragon or whatever it is. Everybody makes mistakes occasionally, you know what I'm saying? And, like, sometimes it's funny, you know. I'll even laugh at myself right now, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I made a big snafu, you know. South America is a totally different fucking place, like, you know, and region of the world than Spain, you know what I mean? So, you know, I really blew that one, you know what I'm saying? But thanks for pointing that out, Ben and Andres, and straightening me out on that. That's interesting because in all reality, it would have made no fucking sense whatsoever for them to have gotten to South America. You know how long it takes to get to South America?
No. Like, I mean, like,
and plus, how the fuck would they get that far off course to be in South America?
Yeah, that could have been even far weird. Like, no way, because it's gonna be many hours for them to even get there. It's like 16 hours to get to like South America, folks. Like, it's a lot.
No, to get to the U.S. Like to get to South America is to get to South America is really far.
really far. My bad. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So my bad on that one. Okay, so they're in Spain. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, we still don't know much about what's going on in Spain. After the zombie apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Carol's all fucked up. Like from the crash. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't really explain what happened to her. You know what I mean? If she like hit something or fell or like what happened to her. But apparently she's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. So let me get to Ben about his opinion on that section. We'll get into that like Carol's situation. Ben, what you thought about the boat going to the storm and seeing Stephen Merch as a walker? Go ahead, sir. If you have any thoughts on that.
And the South America veer, the veer to South America.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Hey, I really liked it, but the only thought was like, it was just a shame that they skipped straight from the storm to suddenly they've been like washed up on the shore for ages for so long, and the tide's gone out. Like, I would have liked to see a little bit more in the middle. And I guess even for me, this is more just like maybe personal taste as opposed to necessarily objectively right or wrong with the show. But I would have enjoyed like seeing them on their boat for a while longer, having to survive. Like maybe something happens with the food, they've got to like try and catch fish or something. Like I kind of enjoy those survival situations. And even like you were saying before with the pirate ship, imagine even like maybe it wouldn't be very logical because. But I was thinking like an abandoned cruise ship or something that's just full of zombies, and like if their little boat's sinking and they have no choice but to like climb onto another ship that's full of walkers, like I don't know, I would have enjoyed just
Ben, there would be ghost ships in a post-apocalyptic zombie, whatever. There would be ghost ships just like all around the ocean.
Totally. Yeah, so something like that I think I would have enjoyed, but no, overall it was I enjoyed it. And yeah, like maybe we're about to get to this next. The main thing that I didn't like so much was the surgery scene when Daryl's trying to pull the bit of metal out of her back. But everything up to that point I thought was pretty decent. And like, yeah, it was sad seeing what's the guy's name again? Stephen Merchant,
Julian.
the character's
Julian.
name? Julian, that's right.
Yeah.
Sad to lose him so quickly. But, it was... I guess I like that we're very quickly now into a whole new situation and a new, location for the series. So it's kind of exciting to see it moving quickly.
But you're right, Ben. They could have actually explained his death. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have given us they could have given us a little bit more. Like so we could have understood like what happened to him. Did he get hurt on the boat and then like was hurt on the boat and died on the boat and like became a zombie or whatever, like or something? Or did he also get flown from the boat and get hurt like everybody else did?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well,
so a little bit more in between those two things would have been nice.
Yeah, because I agree with you, Ben. Because like there was like a lot of missing scenes, and especially for Julian.
How hurt was he when he got hurt during that storm or whatever, and he hit his head? How injured was he?
Yeah, because a head concussion doesn't make you a walker, right? Like because the blood, like in his head.
No. I mean, he was bleeding, and like he really, and there was and he really got hit hard, right? Right. He was bleeding, but he had like some like his face, and he looked pretty banged up. But were they trying to insinuate that like he was actually like seriously critically injured?
Yeah, it seemed like it because like I mean, by the way, you can't get killed by that kind of concussion if you hit your head hard. But like at that moment, like I didn't think that was like that bad for him to be affected to become a
you can hang out with a bad head injury alive for a long time and just sit like rock it out.
Yeah. So I think that's what was happening with him. It seemed like that hit did kill him, and like that's how he became a walker finally. So
I don't know.
I don't know. Like it doesn't. Like,
What do you think, Ben? Do you honestly think that that Carol got up and left him there by himself because that was almost like he was like at his end or some shit?
No, like it seemed like he was going to pull through, and yeah, it was just a concussion or something. But because I guess any number of things could have happened. He could have like when the ship flipped, he could have hit his head again, or like he could have even drowned or something. And then like maybe that would have been more interesting if he came out of the ocean and he'd like fallen out of the boat and he came out of the ocean as
Well,
a zombie.
that blow the blow he received on the boat during the storm would not have been enough to kill him.
No, but I guess if you pair that then with the boat flipping over and he doesn't have enough strength to like keep himself above the water, then
I think what logically happened probably is that he was probably fucked up and hurt after that, and like kind of just hung out in the back and like laid around for the rest of the trip. And then when they crashed the boat, that was the end for him. That finished him off. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes more sense. Again, as Ben, you brought it before, there was just like, I feel like they needed a scene or two to like really show us that, and they didn't do that. So fortunately, okay. Thank you, Ben. Let's kind of move to now that section of like Daryl like removing that piece. So during that night, Daryl discovers that Carol has a piece of metal in her back that needs to like come out now.
Where did it come from? They didn't explain that either. Where did the metal? How did she get a piece of metal from falling out of the boat?
I don't know. That part really made me confused me. I was like, yeah, I don't know. Let me read that. And, like someone can like maybe explain that to me because like after that, like she was burning up.
No. Go ahead. I'm just saying, like I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. No. You have a good question. It's like I rewind the scene and it's like I don't know. It has to be between the boat and crashing the beach or something like that. But anyway, after cutting, like she was burning out the fever, right? And then Daryl does the kind of like the operation, at with the knife burning through the fire, and then he kind of cut it out of the station. So Daryl's on the beach, and then so after the cutting of that, we go into kind of like a little bit of I think the night where Daryl's on the beach, and then he notices a man carrying torches, a bunch of men carrying torches, knowing that there are bad news with those Avenel skulls, as my notes say here, they're wearing on their heads. Daryl rushes back to Carol, whose fever is making her delirious, as always. It takes some effort, but he was able to keep her quiet, and the strange man leave. Then I guess this is like a wrap up because after that, next morning, Daryl and Carol pack up and stumble off into the woods, and finding a sign on the trail that reads Costa de la Muerte, and that has a meaning here. Well, first off, this episode is called Costa de Morte, aka it's translated into the cause of death. So really cool. They're making that like a meaningful thing. But so
That's
after,
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. With the Spain theme they're having this season, so that was really cool. So they discovered that they're in Spain. So like let me get that out of the way. Like they now know they're in Spain. They haven't gotten as far as they were hoping. So that confirms that, okay, so they're in this another like continent as always. So the friends follow the sound of the river and encounter walkers as usual in nets hanging from the trees. They quickly move on and come to a small shelter where they rest again for the night. Daryl patches up Carol's wound. Carol talks about how Daryl hides his feelings. We know that. He opens up about how he's ready to give up at the tunnel in French. But he saw the ghost of his lover, his late lover, let me say that, Isabel. It got him fighting again, which is cool. That's nice. He tells Carol that they can never give up because we got, this was a funny line. I love Carol for this because we got hot dogs to eat. And I love that, Carol says. And then the next morning, Daryl is hunting for food near the river and a vehicle approaches. Really interesting, and he hides behind the tree and watches a military tree drives past. But when he retreats to the shelter, Carol is gone, and then that's where we kind of cut up the episode. And then Daryl cannot find her anywhere. So, and that's the end of the episode. So let me get to you, Ben. What you thought about this final section of the episode? Now finding out that we're in Spain, and you could talk about the annoying thing of like, Daryl cutting the like metal of Carol's back and all that. Go ahead, sir.
Sure, yeah. With the cutting the metal out of her back, I thought just I don't know. That was just the one thing that felt like it didn't need to be there at all. If they'd cut it out, it probably wouldn't have lost much. But like mainly just because it felt like it was really dragged out, and it didn't seem like that serious of a thing. Just in that it was like really easy to just grab it and pull it out. And there's maybe they just over dramatized it a bit, but like, that's more of a nitpick maybe. I guess that's more important for the plot that like Carol's out of action for a little bit. Like she's got to heal from this infection now. So it makes sense for that. The guys who come and pretty much destroy the boat and or destroy all their stuff, they look very intimidating, and especially with all the skulls on the masks and everything. Like, because I was thinking about that. It's like, should Daryl just try and like wave to them and say, "Hey, like, I come in peace," that sort of thing? But like, they seem like they were probably just going to kill anyone they came across, so probably not a good idea. So I'm interested to see like where they go with these people, and like I'm guessing obviously it's going to be a villain group. That would make the most sense, but they really could go any direction because it's more of a mystery at the moment, of like what they're actually up to. They could have just been good guys scavenging, and they find a random boat that's come up on the beach. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But like the ending with Carol missing, I'm kind of I'm curious where they're going with that, because they made it seem like a big deal when like in reality she could have just gone up to go find some food or go to the toilet or something. So we'll see. But like overall, it definitely it was like there was every scene led to something intriguing in the next scene, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm keen to see where this is going to go. And obviously they find out that they're in Spain, which is nowhere near where they wanted to be. But I think it's gonna, it's kind of set up enough questions in my head that I'm curious to see what's next.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. Jeff, your thoughts on the final section of this episode, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, we'll have to see. I already happened to bump into a Collider article earlier, like a couple hours ago today, that slammed this whole season. Based off of their decision to like move to Spain or whatever as the location for the show, like that, them ending up there. They made that as the main focal point of the reason why the season's not very good. At least that's the gist I got from it. You know what I'm saying? Now that's just one article. You know what I mean? I find Collider pretty reliable for the most part. So I don't know what to think, man. Like I still don't understand why Carol was so fucked up, like physically or whatever, from like the boat wreck or whatever. Like, Daryl seemed fine. He got thrown from the boat. You know what I mean? Like, so like, I mean, why was Carol so fucked up? You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like really physically hurt. The like Ben said, the pulling the metal out part or whatever. I've seen scenes like that done so much better in other movies and other shows, you know what I'm saying, than how they handled it in that situation, Like, they made Carol come off like kind of a pussy, Like, I mean, hasn't Carol been like shot and stabbed and fucking all kinds of shit like that over the years?
Yes, and she got hit by a car. I mean, she's been...
Hasn't she been like physically beaten like, you know, in like physical fights and shit, like been beaten by men and shit like that on the show and all that. Like, you know,
Well,
I like
Well, yeah, or her husband was
not her husband. I've seen her actually. Hasn't she actually fought dudes and stuff like that and gotten punched in the face and stuff like that before too?
I mean, yeah. If I remember correctly, yeah. She's been in 2 fights before. Yeah, I
Yeah, she's been fucked up before on the main show, you know, and she always sucked it up, you know, like everybody else did. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't know why she was suddenly so ill. You know what I'm saying? And then what was going on with those weirdo like Indian motherfuckers on the horses with like the horns on their heads and shit and swords and shit? Like, what was up with that? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't know where that's going, but like, I don't know about all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You know, we don't need no crazy barbarian, Conan the Barbarian, you know, Walking Dead shit going on. You know what I'm saying? And Daryl Dixon season 3. We don't need that. We don't need that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, we don't need characters running around riding horses, you know, and going into battle on horseback and all this kind of shit. We don't need that on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. You know? So disappearing Carol, the disappearance of Carol, that shit is so confusing. Like, why the fuck that happened? Like, I'm lost to this day why that happened. Like, what are they trying to say happened? Was she taken? Like, did she decide for some reason to just like that she was a burden to Daryl and so she just took off? Like, what is she so delirious from her injuries that she just walked off? Like, because she saw like the ghost of her daughter again or some shit? What the fuck is that shit all about? Why is Carol all of a sudden gone?
Or was she kidnapped, I guess, is the other option.
yeah.
Maybe.
That's
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's just like, you know, it's just so shocking to me as a Daryl Dixon fan. Like, you know, they've already separated Carol and Daryl. Like, you know, like the first season, they're separated. You know what I'm saying? And then in season 2, they're separated. You know what I'm saying? And they finally come together. You know, now you're gonna have her disappear again and make them fucking be on their own again. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. It's that was a very weird, annoying thing. Yeah.
Just not what I expected from the end of the episode. You know what I'm saying? Hats off to AMC for making a nice long, an hour and 2-minute long episode for the first episode. You know, Andres, you know how I feel about nice long, hour-long episodes of TV shows. They're the best. You know, honestly, for episode 1, that having all that extra length of episode, I think helped the episode. It made it a better episode. It did. You know, having that extra time, you know, in the scenes and stuff like that, you know, and it helped. You know, but at the same time, I'm just a little bit miffed by how things ended with like the boat crash, and now they're in Spain. They don't even know where the fuck they're at, and like, you know, like now Carol disappeared. You know, so like this is just not what I was expecting from like Daryl Dixon season 3. To be honest with you, it's not where I thought the story was going to go.
Yeah, I kind of agreed here. Yeah,
I'm just surprised. I mean, I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. I'll work with it, you know, and check it out, and like we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll be okay. But I'm just surprised a little bit, you know?
Yeah, same here. I was very surprised how they did this episode. I liked it was hour long, as you said before. It's a really good spot, and I hope the next episodes we have long episodes too. And let me just read to the. I've been using the Collider recap, and they have their pros and cons here. I'm gonna do.
Well, let Ben talk about the show before you read that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben. I'll do that after you, sir.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess I hadn't thought about it in that sense of like, yeah, maybe they'll be separated again for a while and they've got to find each other. That would be kind of annoying if like they've just found each other like for the 10th time or whatever, and now they can separate it again. Yeah. Well, I guess that I'll save until we get to next episode and then see what direction they go with it. Yeah, I like the idea that it's it's in a different location now as an overall thing. Like, because you were saying that was maybe one of the biggest criticisms, and we'll have to see where the series goes, I guess. But I like the idea that it's kind of maybe even for this season and the next season could be in another location as they gradually try and make their way back to America. But I guess from the trailer, the idea that I like is that it's just these two guys, Daryl and Carol, going around and maybe like being cowboys essentially and helping out different small villages, and like maybe this group of like the Indians, like you were saying, that maybe they're like the big bullies that are coming in and terrorizing some small village, and then Daryl and Carol are going to come in and help them fight back. Like, you know, if they go that kind of direction, I think that would be quite a fun show. So I'm excited to see where it goes, and I hope that they keep up the feel of this first episode, where it's like just lots of survival going from place to place, and it's Daryl and Carol together, which we always like to see them. They've got good chemistry and everything. Because like remember in Walking Dead season 5, that episode where just those two go to Atlanta together, they're looking for Beth.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was it was really nice. You're just seeing them going, like, surviving and talking about all their shared experiences and their past traumas and that kind of thing, and as they're like moving through all these.
I cannot remember that episode, Ben. That's unfortunate, but I cannot remember that episode, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago now, but it's where they meet Noah for the first time. So worth going back and having a watch if you're interested.
Most definitely. I do remember. I do remember when Daryl and Beth were together. Yeah, at that one point, at that junction where they put them together for that chunk of episodes,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is after that, when Beth was kidnapped by like the hospital people, and
by the
Daryl
hospital people,
looking for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I remember what you're talking about, Ben. That episode, because it was a really good one when Daryl met Noah, and then when he mentioned that, I need help to get get Beth, and he's like, oh wait, Beth. And then all of a sudden, Carol runs off, and then she gets hit by the people from the hospital, the cops that are really bad, and she gets taken. So it was a really good episode.
Beth was a great character. Honestly, like if you want to talk about an underrated Walking Dead character, that maybe doesn't get as much credit, as she deserves. You know what I'm saying? Over the years, for the little bit of time she had on the show, which was actually a pretty good chunk of the show, but she just didn't always get a lot of screen time, but she honestly was a great character, and I thought her scenes were always great, and she was always so positive, and I loved her interactions with other characters too on the show. You know what I mean? Like how she would interact with the other characters, And it's really unfortunate, Ben, if you remember, because honestly, when they killed her off, they had really been building her character up at that point, So they killed her off at when she was really built up. You know what I mean? Which made it even more sad, when she died, because she was great. And that was one of the coolest parts about The Walking Dead back then, was that they would create things like those hospital people that would snatch people and keep them in the hospital and all that shit. You know what I mean? They were doing creative stuff like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So, not further ado, we're pretty much at the end of this episode recap. So let me just read out the Collider recap, because I did this with Dead City. It was funny. But here the points were kind of agreeable. Yeah, it was because Dead City was so hard to talk about. Then it was let me read these pros and cons.
I already read. I think I already read this article, so I already know how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean it's only 2 negatives, and it's pretty much.
Oh no! What are you reading? The Vulture?
No, I'm reading Collider. This is they did a recap of the first episode. That's what I've been doing.
Oh, okay. I saw the whole season recap.
Oh, really? Okay, that was interesting. I I haven't read that, so I don't know.
Collider's one of the big. They're a big boy. They're an actual media company, so they can get access to the whole show.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so the process. Let me go with the positives. I mean, I agree with this. Like the Daryl Carol relationship continues to carry the series. Agreed. The Walker effects are as disgusting as ever. Agreed. I like that. And this one, I do agree. Julian is one of the better one episode characters in the Walking Dead history. I agree. I tried to remember what were the best characters in one episode, but yeah, like Morgan. Before Morgan became a regular character, he was like one of the best like one character episodes. Before he became a regular later on. And then the two negatives is what Jeff was bringing up. More time should have been spent in London. True, I was very shocked about that. We thought all of us initially thought we were going to be in London for this season, but no. And then the second negative is kind of with Ben, which I agree with Ben here. It was disappointing to see the Stephen Merch character being killed off so soon, because he could have been a great regular for this like season. And yeah, so that's all. That's all I had to say for the pros and cons they say in that recap. I agree. So yeah, let's get into ratings, and then after that, Jeff will pretty much plug us out. So, starting with you, Ben, what's your rating for this first episode of Daryl Dixon season 3? Go ahead.
Was that for me? Sorry.
Oh yes, yeah, Ben. Sorry, the rating.
Oh, sorry.
Rating,
So the rating. No worries. Sorry, my dog's just going crazy. So out of 10.
Yeah, out of 10. Yeah.
Actually, one of you guys jump in. I'm just going to get my dog out of here. She's going nuts. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Problem.
Jeff, go ahead. You're ready, sir.
Yeah, I will go ahead and give episode 1 of Daryl Dixon season 3 a solid. I'll give it a solid 8.5.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of with you with that. Really awesome. Ben, if you're at time, your ratings are 10 out of something, sir. Go ahead.
I would say like an 8. Yeah, I was very happy with it. Maybe if this was part of the main show in like the peak of The Walking Dead, like obviously it's not as good as the best of what we've got from the main show. So probably I would put it a bit lower, like a 6 or 7 if we're comparing it to the really great episodes that we've had in the past. But compared to what we've got from pretty much all the spin-offs so far, like this might be, I would actually say this is my favorite episode from any of the spin-offs, maybe except for Fear the Walking Dead, had some pretty good ones.
Oh no, awesome. I kind of agree with you guys. I'll give this an 8 out of 10 as well. I thought this was a very good season premiere. I thought it didn't disappoint, but at the same time, I do agree with Jeff. I was surprised with the direction they took. I was not expecting, and I was like kind of sad that the Stephen Merch character died. But overall, and then also there were a lot of character stupid. Like there were a lot of stupid character decisions that they did with the characters. They make them dumb so that we can move to the next plot to another. That was a big issue with this episode. I know it's like Carol sometimes made some very stupid decisions that I just don't think Carol should have done. But we had to do it to like get to A and B, in the plot. But overall, it was good. I liked that we got a couple Walker kills. That was awesome. I thought the searing of London was really good for the amount we saw. And I'm pumped that we got season 3. And I agree with you, Ben. This was a good opener. This was way better than what Dead City had for its season 2. This was way more enjoyable. And but yeah. But thank you, everyone, for joining us for Daryl Dixon Season 3 recap and review. I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I don't know how many people saw our show, but I just want to thank Ben for joining with us. It was great to hear you, sir, and see you again after so many years. I'm going to give it to Jeff now, who's going to, send us out. And
we're gonna skip plugs tonight, Andres. Okay. I've got a friend here. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and call it a night. Ben, it was great to see you again, brother. Thanks for taking the time to come join us tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Sorry again about the internet problems.
That's
Don't worry.
okay.
Don't
That's
worry.
okay. It happens to the best of us, brother. And we're really glad to see you again, man. And hopefully we'll see you again down the road at some point. Maybe in 2026 or something like that. But folks,
right.
we appreciate everybody out there that supports the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Please rate and follow our podcast. We love that. And we are out of here for tonight. We will see you later.